my village. It's your coach Mo. I was just driving around because I love to drive around, just leave my thoughts on the road. But anyway, back to the topic. Why do y'all make co-parenting so difficult? Co-parenting do not have to be difficult. It's actually really easy if you leave your feelings out of it and stop being so selfish, so conniving, so revengeful, things like that, because you ain't dealt with your hurt and your trauma. As a parenting coach, because most of you guys should know by now that I'm a parenting coach and a business coach. Right now I'm focusing on the parenting towards the end of the year because we're dealing with families, and me help what I do and my parenting coach side of the business is help you break generational curses. We're coming into that holiday tomorrow where some people are not even celebrating with their family because of the toxic behavior, the bullying that they deal with family, stuff like that. But I also help parents co-parent successfully to be able to coexist in their child's life, as well as master time management and work-life balance to be able to raise mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally healthy children. On the business side, I help coaches identify their ideal client to be able to create content, products, and services to gain income in their business. But right now, I want to talk about co-parenting. People make co-parenting so difficult because they usually don't want to heal. They don't want to acknowledge the part that they played into it. A lot of us play the victim role. I used to be that person until I actually healed. I went to therapy. I acknowledged what I played. I knew all the red signs, and I still dealt with the person because I seen them do it to other people. Because one thing about my story, I have a kid with my childhood best friend. So I was access to everything because I was the best friend. I knew all the baby mamas. I knew their situationships. I knew everybody he was dealing with, all that. And I wound up being baby mama number 3, but I knew all of us. I knew all the 3 other ones because I was there. I was there when his first daughter was born. I went to the hospital with him to make sure that was his kid. Like, I was that ride or die best friend. I always had his back. We lived together. I knew he was dating. Number 2, I knew he was dealing with her when he went to go visit her because we were living together. And it's like, I knew all the red signs, flags, and I know how he was. I didn't think it was going to be different with me, but I still chose to be involved with him and deal with him on that level. So I'm not oblivious to that and my part that I play, and neither is he. And we never painted ourselves out to be the perfect person or the innocent person. We knew we effed up. We knew we shouldn't have been doing what we was doing. And that's it. But that's why we're able to co-parent and still be friends. We're not best friends no more, but we're still friends and able to coexist and co-parent our child in a healthy way. We trade off with parenting sometimes. Like right now, my son is 13. He's about to be 14 in January. And he decided, Mom, I'm in the 8th grade. Can I just finish out the school year with my dad? Can I go move to Texas and live with my dad? And I said, let me call your dad and see if he's open to it. He said, send him to me. This gonna be, well, it's not his first time living with his dad, because actually when his dad moved to Vegas around the time the pandemic started, we traded off. My son was, I think, he was in elementary at the time. He was probably like in 5th grade or 4th grade. And he was like, can I go live with my dad? So he lived with his dad. We traded off. His dad had him during the week. I had him on the weekend. That was probably the best time in my business because I had just started my business, just quit work. Went full-time in my business. I was able to focus on my business and achieve my goals. That's when I went back to school, and I had that free time to do me and be that single woman and not the single mom. So we traded off and we shared the responsibilities. That was his first time ever living with his dad. It was rough in the beginning, but we were in the same state. This time it's going to be different because we're in a different state, but he's a teenager now. He's more independent. He can be without his mom. I don't be all nervous when he go with his dad anymore, because he used to go with him for a month at a time. That's why I homeschooled him. He would go live in Florida for a month. He would go to Mississippi for a couple of weeks, and I used to be worried about him, but now he's asking. So he's at that stage where he's a teenager. He needs his dad, and I had that understanding that your child should have a say in that situation as well. I do believe in that. Especially if you're the toxic parent and your kid do not want to be with you and they're crying to go back with their dad every time their dad dropped them off, or they're crying to go back with their mom every time the mom dropped them off. I feel like you have to listen to the child as well, even though sometimes children are manipulative, because my son think it's going to be better and that he's going to be like a frat life with his dad, but he about to have a rude awakening. But sometimes I have to let him learn that lesson, and he gonna have to get that experience because he never been that far away from me living permanently with his dad, where I'm not flying to Texas every weekend from California, but I told him he can probably come every other weekend, or I'll come visit him at least once a month, or fly him here, because it's not a long flight, and he's used to flying by himself back and forth to his dad anyway. But it don't have to be difficult. Y'all don't have to be best friends, but you do need to be friends with the other parent. And I feel like it's very selfish if you can't do that, because your child is going to be the one to suffer in the end. They're going to be the one that never get to see their parents coexist because there's toxicity in that situation. Everybody is an adult, and you have to learn how to be adult enough to put your feelings to the side and go and get help. His dad went to therapy. My son is in therapy. I made sure, me having almost 3 psych degrees, I'm about to be a psychologist for God's sakes in over a little over a year. But I have 2 psych degrees, and that's my background. I'm a life coach. You think I don't believe in therapy? Sometimes you don't only need coaching. Sometimes you need therapy as well to deal with your childhood trauma, because that's basically what we were going to therapy for, is our childhood trauma. You do have to heal your childhood trauma in order to be able to coexist and be able to co-parent successfully. If you never deal with your issues, you never deal with your problems, it would not be a successful, healthy situation, and you'll just be screwing your kids up, and they'll need therapy to get over the trauma that you caused on them. So it's very selfish when you can't get your shit together to be able to give your kids a better life and a chance at life without childhood trauma, because you are damaging your kids, believe it or not. Whether you want to accept it or not, you are screwing up their life, and you are really damaging them for your poor decisions, and you're selfish. So get it together. You don't have to be best friends, but you should be able to at least be on talking terms without weaponizing the system against the other parent, because I see a lot of people doing that, like, oh, he this, he that, da 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 da, and they will blow something so simple out of proportion when it wasn't even that, all because they're thinking about themselves and not about the kid, and then the kid got to witness all this crap. That's the sad part. This is why I tell people courts don't work, because you go to court, they teach you how to live and parent separately. They don't teach you how to co-parent. That's not what courts trying to do. The United States especially do not want to see families together. They want to see you apart, because that's the only way they will help you. That's the only way they feel like if they keep the father out of the household and out of the child's life, it plays in favor for their agenda on us, especially us people, black people especially. So please stop letting these systems weaponize the other parent. You calling the police because you can't even drop the child off. For a while, like, my son dad didn't even know where I lived until a few years ago, until the pandemic. We would meet up at the train station. If that's what you got to do to eliminate drama coming to your house, because my house is my place of peace, and he know I don't play about that. I'm about that life. We both grew up in Compton. He know my family crazy, my daddy crazy, my brothers, I got like 6 of them. He know, don't play with them, because you're asking for a death wish. But we would meet up at the train station for years, because that's when he was living with baby mama number 4 now. She wasn't number 4 then, but that's when he was with number 4, where he used to have him on the weekend, and we would meet up at the train station, swap kids, and you tell me when to come back and get them. That was it. But when he did have them, I was one of them parents, like, you can't bring them back. This your weekend. My phone going on do not disturb. I actually used to leave out of the state and go out of town and go on like a weekend getaway. But he used to be like, hey, I'm gonna take him to get my note. My mom not there. Be like, you got to keep them here full time. I'm not one of the moms that be like, I want my kid back early. No, this is my time. I am glad and happy that I have some free time, because it didn't happen often. Like, there was many years I didn't have no help. But y'all stop making it difficult and get your life together. Get therapy.